Allen takes on the anchor role, allowing Gascoigne plenty of licence to get forward to support the two out-and-out attackers, Stewart and Paul Walsh. Only Allen, Gary Mabbott and Chris Waddle left from Spurs' last Wembley appearance in last year's FA Cup final against Coventry. David O'Leary's absence was costly when Arsenal were last here in April, beaten in the Littlewoods Cup final, but he's worked very hard through the summer after a major Achilles operation. In fact, O'Leary keeps out Arsenal's one summer signing, Steve Bold. Lee Dixon and Nigel Winterburn are the fullbacks, with Kenny Sansom out of favour, but not fit for consideration today in any case. A familiar look to midfield, with the exception of Brian Marwood, who was restricted to just 4 games since joining from Sheffield Wednesday in March. And 20-year-old Paul Merson partners Alan Smith in attack. Joe Worrell was the referee when Arsenal played Luton in that marvellous Littlewoods Cup final back in April. Well, this is the type of pre-season competition that's very much the order of things around Europe. A new departure at Wembley, and I'm sure one full of promise and potential. Whatever the nature of competition between Tottenham and Arsenal, you're sure to get a very competitive match. The fans demand that. It might not quite be what is in the minds of the respective managers at this stage of the pre-season development, with fitness being built, but already a hurry and a scurry about the pace of things. Here's Brian Marwood, and David Rocastle has been amongst the goals in Arsenal's game so far. Both clubs have had tours of Sweden with good success. Did well to ease it back to Waddle in the first place. Walsh involved now, and Waddle was wary of going offside. Certainly in recent meetings, Arsenal seem to have worked Tottenham out. Oh. Now Waddle was pretty cynical then for the pre-season tournament. Howard was well past him. Joe Worrell applying the rule of common sense there, as well as giving a free kick for the law of the game being infringed. It's a useful header from Smith down towards Merson. O'Leary, Arsenal so pleased to have him back. You can see why. That was a marvellous pass to Brian Marwood. Able to claim it, but O'Leary set it all off by switching the point of attack really for Arsenal. And with the greatest respect to those who deputised for David O'Leary at the back end of last season, Arsenal weren't quite the same without the Republic of Ireland man. Gascoigne let him fly, and Dixon, who got into trouble earlier, was able to diffuse the situation. It's turning out to be an interesting contest. Marwood against Mabbott, and Smith, Merson in the middle. The greater menace so far from Arsenal. You can't ignore Chris Waddle. Must have been very close. We've got pretty senior linesmen here supporting Joe Worrell. It's Alan Gunn, well-known referee, of course, in his own right, on the near side, and on the far side, a very familiar figure indeed, George Courtney. To the early balls forward from Arsenal. Winterburn. He's only played one First Division match, and that was in a rather infamous game when David Pleat left out virtually his cup final side at Everton back in May of '87. And several Tottenham players made their first appearance in that game. Mark Stimson, left back here, was one of them, and that's his only First Division game to date. Although Stimson had a spell on loan with Leyton Orient last season. So he has around 10 Fourth Division games under his belt as well. Well, the two managers there, firm friends since the days when they were players together with Chelsea some 24 years ago now. Reminder, there can't be a drawn match in this competition. There will be no extra time, but there won't be a sudden death penalty shootout. It stayed level after 90 minutes. Here's Gascoigne. That was beautifully done in every respect until it came to the shot. The Arsenal defence then parted in front of Gascoigne. There was a clever shift from one foot to the other, but having done the difficult work, the finish, in all honesty, was tame. But there was a twinkle in the toes then that would have delighted Terry Venables and the Tottenham fans. Walsh rolled it in behind O'Leary. That was the clever touch there, but the shot was underhit. Taken on the break by Samways. He's got Stewart to his right. Gascoigne was infield. And there's no way through this time. I think he quite fancied his chances then, Paul Gascoigne, having got through a few minutes earlier. Rocastle with a delightful back heel. Davis, maybe a shot is on from Paul Davis. And it seemed to change direction in the air, judging by Nims's reaction to the shot. He started to go to his left, the Tottenham goalkeeper, found the ball coming on the other side. Marwan. For a moment there. How costly will that be for Tottenham? Winterburn quickly up in support. Rocastle challenging the goalkeeper. Mims has lost it. No foul given. Bobby Mims really needs a good start to this season. But he might be pressed here by Davis. And by Merson, who's got a great chance, and he's taken it. It's an important goal for Arsenal. Mims will wonder about not making that safe catch a little earlier, when he could have defused the situation. But it's a great goal from Merson's point of view, with a place really up for grabs alongside Smith in the Arsenal attack. How calmly the goal was taken. And Tottenham, in truth, defended poorly for quite some moments in there. And amidst the confusion, Merson arrived with the ball. And Arsenal, really in keeping with the balance of the game so far, a goal to the good with 31 minutes gone. see what Tottenham are made of now. Well, it's a learning process for managers until the league season kicks off in earnest, but it's difficult for the losing manager here. The fans will draw conclusions. Will feel that he was fouled at the far post. Joe Worrell was very close to assess. And let play go on, and when Arsenal got it back into the middle, Merson pounced. Thomas, too strong for Gascoigne. Merson, the flag's up, not against Thomas. I think Alan Smith was making his way back from an offside position. I first saw Michael Thomas play here, actually at Wembley, when he played left-back in a schoolboy international a few years ago. And he's come through from that age group to be really now an outstanding prospect. Gascoigne. Here's Stimson. Same way, just inside him. There's a push by O'Leary. Paul Stewart has scored one First Division goal. Just a handful of appearances at that level for Manchester City against Arsenal. End of the 86-87 campaign. Manchester City won 3-0, although they were to be relegated at the end of that season. Stewart trying to get in with a sent for goal again there. Gascoigne, Fairclough, awkward for Lee Dixon. Waddle. Calling for an early cross, he might get some service now from the free kick. So Fairclough has stayed forward. Abbott's made a good run in there as well, but the ball delivered too close to Lukic from the Tottenham viewpoint. For Rocastle. Got the better of Gascoigne, but in danger of running out of room. Rocastle lost his balance as he went for the cross. Well, Arsenal very much in the driving seat now. Merson coming in again, Smith! It was superbly returned from beyond Alan Smith by Merson from Marwood's cross. A really thoughtful header that Smith also touched with his head, but couldn't keep down. Arsenal, the team with 3 consecutive First Division victories over Tottenham. And over 45 minutes here. Good form continuing. Arsenal have had the better of the first half, marking it with a goal after 31 minutes from Paul Merson, whose development being Tottenham by 1-0. You could really forgive the players if they put on something of an exhibition game with perhaps pulling out of tackles, but this has had a genuine feel to it. Here's Fairclough. In fact, with the worn pitch and some clouds gathering overhead, there's almost a mid-season feel to it rather than a pre-season feel. Smith, good tackle by Fairclough on the stretch. They've only held up Arsenal for a moment. Now would again the way forward. Thomas is right in there, but it was a mistimed leap, almost born out of lack of match practice. So a fair share of enthusiasm to get in there and to run ahead of the ball. Good work by Dixon and by Stimpson. And I wonder whether Nigel Winterburn will be able to keep that number 3 shirt, and Ken Sansom will move on, as is widely predicted, having fallen out with George Graham, it seems. 2 signs of Walsh's trademark, really. The low centre of gravity, the quick change of direction, good touch when the ball's rolled in to him along the ground. Certainly, Walsh has scored his goals over the years, but the last couple of years he's been really affected by injuries at Liverpool before moving on last season to Tottenham. Well, the rules apply here of any 2 substitutes can be used from 5 named, and Niall Quinn is one named by Arsenal. Well, one by Davis. Here's Rocastle and Smith. Looked for the near post, and surely the goalkeeper made a save here. Well, that's an advantage given to us to see, but Bobby Mims plunged across it and, to my eyes, got his hands to it. He certainly thought he should have had a corner, and he's absolutely right. It was a good chance, really, to put the game beyond Tottenham's reach, but now Walsh might wriggle in for an equaliser. Lukic did his part, the clearance from Dixon. And really, the chance that Alan Smith had came into sharp focus then, because Walsh was looking to be more ruthless at the other end and level it up for Tottenham within seconds. Walsh. Mistake by Waddle, and Merson to Davis. Marwood, who's had perhaps his first quiet spell of the match, but he's emerging from it now. And forces the corner, even if it wasn't his most cohesive run of the game. solve another problem for Arsenal as well, Brian Marwood. He loves taking penalties. He's pretty good at it too. And Arsenal had a deplorable record shared by a number of players last season from the spot. Well, Stewart stabbed at it and it rolled away kindly for him to Waddle. And that's a good run. Always looking for attacking possibilities is Gascoigne. Taking on Dixon. Stewart trying to distract some defenders, and Gascoigne's got a free kick. In territory which might encourage him to strike for goal. Dixon is the player in the wars, being treated by Gary Lewin. George Graham is pleased with his team in the second half as in the first. Theo Foley in the middle of the picture there, discussing matters with Martin Hayes. Dixon really served his time in the lower divisions before his big move came. He's really sensed us now. What can Tottenham come up with here? Fenwick very involved, but he moves away now. It's Samways with his back to goal. Gascoigne, and Lukic read it. He was almost contemptuous in the way he made the save, as if to say, you'll have to do a lot better than that to beat me. Dixon. Won't have Paul Stewart for the first 4 games once the season begins because of suspension, and it would be no surprise if he was to go off, but it's the Arsenal number 10 board that's up to give Martin Hayes a run in place of Paul Merson, and there's a real exchange going on as Samways departs, Stewart departs. David Howells comes on for Tottenham. And Tottenham's second substitute is Phil Gray, who's wearing number 16, who comes from Northern Ireland. Phil Gray has been described to me by someone close to the Tottenham camp as plays like Andy Gray. So that must give you some idea. That's Andy Gray of Scotland fame, of course. And Andy Gray, currently of Aston Villa. Point, losing him for 4 games for that 51 penalty points last season. So the round of substitutions, they had 3 in one go. It should be completed with the 4th very shortly. More on that in a moment. Rocastle. Still Rocastle. Smith, Marwood. And he deserves to be on the score sheet. faded in the face of David Rocastle, who just ran on and ran on. Once he got in the area, of course, there was always the risk of this time tackle giving away a penalty. But they couldn't stop Rocastle, and Marwood was left with the tap-in. Arsenal lead 2-0, and with 15 minutes remaining, this goal from Marwood should ensure victory. Celebrating, they did make their second substitution, and it's a chance to see in an Arsenal shirt. They're signing for just under £400,000 from Stoke City, Steve Bold. He's come on for David O'Leary. Howells. Substitute at Wembley in the World Cup final against Luton and got a goal. But the crucial second goal for Arsenal here from Brian Marwood, marking his first appearance at Wembley, and adorning really a very encouraging display from their signing from Sheffield Wednesday last March from the Arsenal viewpoint. Here's Marwood again. Gray, he's got something to play for, with Stewart having the suspension to start the season. Someone's got to part the Wolves for Tottenham. There are plenty of candidates. Model, I guess, would be one of them. Here's Rocastle. Arsenal rampant now. Rocastle again, and Marwood again. It's in the net again, but it doesn't count. Certainly worth another look, if only for the finish with a flourish from Brian Marwood. Goes Mabbott. In nips Marwood. Not the full house that the organisers were hoping for, but those who have come, I think, will have felt they've got value for money from this game. Hayes. Stimson just happy to get it away. Different for Tottenham, had Gascoigne finished off that little flurry of a move that he was really mostly responsible for before Arsenal took the lead. But the £2 million man couldn't oblige on that occasion. Rocastle. Here's Dixon. Smith at the near post. Hayes. Marwood! 3-0! What a day for him. Not for Bobby Mims. Beaten the gun. And Arsenal's greater degree of team understanding really shining through now. And Marwood's had two that have counted, one disallowed. All in a short spell as the second half has drawn towards a close. Abbott was drawn across the marker man in the middle, Hayes, and Marwood was totally free. And the chance expertly tucked away. So the talk has been about Tottenham's new signings through the summer months. Arsenal have had a couple really under wraps signed last season, like Lee Dixon and like Brian Marwood. Injured on his debut at Oxford in March and virtually forgotten about until the last couple of games. Now what Tottenham might achieve in the 7 or so minutes that remain. Howells. Here's Walsh trying to arrive on the scene at the crucial moment. No surprise that one or two players like Adams are going down with cramp. They've really pushed themselves here. Not the attendance I think that the organisers would have hoped for, but a pretty reasonable turnout on a grey August afternoon. Not the result that Terry Venables was looking for. His assistant Alan Harris leaning back there, the brows are furrowed. Walsh. Gascoigne found a change of gear then, and again until it was swept away from him by Nigel Winterburn. With a late tackle that could have been construed as a malicious one. No retaliation from Smith, who got his free kick, got on with it. Arsenal quickly step forward again, and Dixon dived, but Smith has scored. So Alan Smith really got his reward then for an incident that happened way back in the Arsenal half. Smith was fouled. Arsenal took the free kick quickly. Smith forgot about the foul, chased on as Dixon dived. Who was there but Alan Smith? And it's turning into a rout. That was clearly a dive by Dixon, but equally clearly a goal for Smith. His uncomplaining nature served him well then, Alan Smith. Other players would still have been harassing the referee in the nature of fair clash challenge. And there's a sporting touch from Bobby Mims, because he saw that Rocastle was down. Well, George Graham isn't one to gloat at the expense of a good friend as well as a rival, Terry Venables, but 4-0 is 4-0, even though you keep your satisfaction inside. Arsenal's first game in the league in 2 weeks' time is at Wimbledon. It's quite an interesting place to start. Spurs play Coventry. We're into the final minute, and Tottenham will be glad to hear the final whistle. Gray. Still full of running, goes ahead of him. Arsenal not satisfied with 4. Smith! Oh, brilliant save from Bobby Mims. It was nearly 5. It won't do Smith any harm that the goal didn't materialise here, but the save may well do Mims a real power of good. Tottenham really back on their heels and grateful that the goalkeeper bailed them out then. There won't be time for the next corner to be taken. It's important to view this match in the proper context. It's still pre-season, but given that, it's still a beating for Tottenham at the hands of Arsenal, with Brian Marwood striking twice, having waited until the age of 28 to play at Wembley for the first time, and he's really made the most of it. Alan Smith got on the score sheet as well with number 4. David Rocastle had a fine game. And Arsenal, who know each other rather better than this Tottenham side in the stage of rebuilding, go off in the Wembley International Challenge, having beaten Arsenal. Real satisfaction for them by 4 goals to 0.
Flicked on. Hayes trying to get it in there, and in the end, Smith will claim it, and Arsenal go ahead. I think even from a couple of yards range, it took a deflection after Smith hit it. But they won't worry about that. The ball's in the back of the Bayern net, and Arsenal in the lead. It looked as though Martin Hayes might have the chance there. And it finally came off the goalkeeper, but it goes down to Alan Smith.
It was an almighty scramble, and Martin Hayes, as you say, very much involved in that. In fact, Hayes ended up on the goal line when the ball went in the net.
Davis, knocked off the line by Eck. Another corner for Arsenal. Again, the set piece almost producing the goal, and big bold at the near post. The perfect, and a flick on these crosses in here. He's done just there. It's gone in, and Smith has done it again. Here's the corner again. There's the flick on, and Smith with the glancing header. A very well taken header indeed.
That was a delightful header because, I mean, there was only a yard, as you can see, between Gold who flicked it on and Smith who got the touch.
Rocastle. Charging on. Hayes will take it up. Here's Thomas. Looking to make another substitution. Howard, Smith, Davis, and Dixon! His opening goal for Arsenal. And number 3 today, as Arsenal make absolutely sure not only of this game but of taking the trophy. Davis's shot was charged away by the keeper, and Lee Dixon made absolutely sure.
A nice chest down by Alan Smith here. Got to the ball, chested it down into Davis's path. The shot off the goalkeeper, and there was Dixon. Never get an easier goal than that, but it's a nice one, isn't it? Your first goal at Wembley.
So, a highly successful couple of days for Arsenal. The Festival Trophy, 7 goals, £60,000 in prize money, and 1 in the eye for their old rival Spurs. But there's still 2 weeks to go before the serious stuff. Sleep well.